Thank you, Abraham. Thank you for being here. I'd like to read a quote from your book that is very pertinent to me. He says, "Anytime your thoughts are out of harmony with one another, we will give you a nudge to let you know which is the one thought that is the most out of order so that you can alter it."
That's what negative emotion is. Mm-hmm. Negative emotion is the nudge.
Okay. What I'd like to talk about is an experience that I have had as a youth, but it's more, what do you do when you have the emotion first in response to a thought? And what I'm referring to specifically is, as a young child, I intuited very early on, without any verbal explanation that I recall, about sexuality as being something very base and shameful. And I acted out on that belief in the way that I didn't associate or show affection toward anybody. I did not relate as I grew older to girls. And any inclination or insinuation that I was interested in them would only infuriate me. And so I had to create an image of myself that was apart from sexuality in order to feel good about myself. And so I maintained that image, and I carried it on through a lot of my life. So finally, I got some control over it. So what I'm saying is, whereas I would look out in the world and I would see, oh, this is a young lady, I'd like to meet her, or this is a person over here I'd like to talk to, be it male or female, I was attracted to them, a fear response would come up and interfere with what I wanted to do, which felt good. And that has, to some extent, moderated, but also still persists to this day. The other day I was watching a television show with my wife, and there was some kind of a romance on there, and whenever anything came up that demonstrates kind of affection or love-making, I feel uncomfortable. I get uneasy, and I get up and I walk away sometimes. In our relationship, my wife and I have been kind of a very critical person, very impatient at times, and she has come to understand that I have a lot of anger, and I agree with her. And it seems like you knew that I was coming today because of what you talked about earlier. I think the anger is tied into this life experience that I've had and the life that I chose deliberately all these years of distancing myself from people and not showing my affections or expressing them, or just simply denying to a great extent my own sexuality. So I feel a great deal of rage, and it comes out sometimes, and it directed indirectly to other people. My question is, what is the trick to turn it around? Because the things that feel good to me, an action that I can choose to do, to speak to this person, to that person, seems to get overridden by this fear response that what I'm doing is wrong, or is bad, or is going to hurt somebody, or something of that nature. And I pull back, and I don't have the satisfaction of the good feeling of going up to somebody and saying, I enjoy your presence, I enjoy your company, thank you for this, and so on. It's a kind of a torturous experience, but I know I have a lot more to give, and I would like to get past that.
We are appreciating the words that you've offered. You've given this a lot of thought. And it is something that is really important to you, so there's a lot of energy moving around it. Mm-hmm. So it is our expectation that as we chew together here, that you will find, more importantly, feel some things begin to line up for you a little bit. The most important thing that we want to say to you is, it is necessary for you to relax wherever you are and stop condemning yourself from wherever you are. Perhaps the most detrimental emotion of all is that one of regret, because it's trying to do something in a time other than now, when now is the only place that you have any power. And so we want to soothe that by saying that from our perspective, you're doing just fine. And it's nice that even now you are clarifying some desires, and you can always come into alignment no matter how long you think that you've been out of alignment. You said something very telling early on that we think is at the heart of some of your confusion around this. You said something like, it seemed to me that I wasn't receiving any outside guidance, that it was more a natural or internal orientation. In other words, you don't remember being programmed against sexuality.
No.
You don't remember anyone giving you any conversations about that. It seemed that it was sort of a natural impulse. But we want to say to you that if that were yours and everyone else's natural impulses, the human race would be in great trouble.
Yeah.
Because that isn't the natural impulse. And we're not even concerned about sexual orientation. We're just saying that sexual impulses are innate. They are natural, just like alignment with Source is natural. But sometimes when you get crossways of alignment with Source, it sort of falls in the category of when you really, really want something and you really, really can't figure out how to get it, then thinking about it is almost torturous. And so the more you want something that you can't figure out how to get, the longer you beat the drum of not having it, which makes law of attraction then give you more of the absence of what you are wanting. And so things like that begin to feel like they take on a life of their own. In fact, that's where humans get the idea about there being a source of evil or a source of sickness or a source of anything, is because enough people give attention to the absence of what they want that it feels like there are literal rivers or currents or streams that are flowing that feel bigger to you than you are. Now, we liked the poignancy of your question when you say, well, anyway, how can I get from where I am to where I'm wanting to be? And we think that much that you've, as you said, that you've heard here already today is helpful in a number of ways, in part because it helps you to relax your contempt for yourself a little bit. We can feel that in a rather strong way. And also, you're, like many people, beginning to feel more hopeful that you can get to where you're wanting to be from where you are. But what is at the heart of your confusion is the same thing that is at the heart of a lot of confusion in a lot of people. It is that you did not remember and were not guided early on in your experience to give much credence to your own emotions. In fact, we would say that rather early on in your experience, there were others who were a lot more interested in you satisfying what made them feel good than in satisfying what made you feel good. So much so, in fact, that you came to a very early conscious conclusion that you just couldn't be right about the things that mattered to you. There were so many things that you felt inclined to go this way that you were forced to go that way, that at an early age you made a conscious decision that if it felt good, it was wrong. And if it felt wrong, it was probably right. And it comes from, and your culture sort of does it, needing you to toe the mark in order to satisfy the requirements that somebody else outside of you has set up as the rules you need to follow. We're talking to all humans when we say, it's not an easy thing to live in an environment where there are so many people that need you to behave in a certain way for them to feel good. And they condemn you for your selfishness. How dare you be so selfish as to follow what makes you feel good? You should follow what makes us feel good, they say unselfishly. And so we would say that at an early age, you just were convinced that you weren't smart enough to know, and that somebody else should make the decisions. And you say you weren't coached, but you could not live in this culture during the times of your life without getting a huge amount of information relative to that. Just the way people roll their eyes and different things that they say. The hypocrisy around the subject of sexuality is huge. Jerry and Esther went into a restaurant the other day. And on their way into the restaurant, they were singing a song. they had been playing with each other, and what they were playing about led to a song which was about what they were playing about. So they were singing the song as they went into the restaurant. And then they were there for over an hour, talked about a whole lot of other things, came out of the restaurant and started singing the same song in the same place. And Esther laughed and said, "Well, we left that thought form right here, didn't we?" And she wasn't kidding about that. In other words, she's come to realize that any time that you focus upon something, that you can literally create an energy vortex around it, and that energy vortex swirls there for a while, and if you are in the same vibrational alignment with it, you'll pick it right up. And we give this to you to say to you that there is so much around the subject, and has been in your entire life around the subject of sexuality, that while you may not be consciously aware that you were programming yourself to believe that it was inappropriate, that is indeed what happened. Isn't it interesting that the very subject that deals with the continuation of your species is a subject that has been under such scrutiny for generations? Isn't it interesting that a subject that is so basic and so natural and so important to your continuation is also the subject that so many have used to put their guidance and their influence and their rules and requirements, until it is really a rare one of you that is uninhibited about that. You are far from natural beings. Your society in its guardedness cannot allow you to be natural. Think about it even to the marriage vows that are so common, that say, "We will stay together until death do us part, in sickness and in health, no matter how we feel about one another. We will ignore our guidance system altogether, and we will follow these rules of these vows, and we will ignore completely any desires that may evolve as we go along." In other words, your society is full of all of that kind of stuff. So we understand that when we talk to you about following your bliss, most of you are not all that practiced about it. Most of you are not even sure that you can guide yourself on important issues, because you've not really been encouraged or allowed to guide yourself on other issues. For heaven's sakes, they make you strap yourself into the car in fear that you might do something to yourself. You have a society gone mad in its belief that you are incapable of guiding your own life. They are just full of suggestions about what you need to do. And so we understand that it's not something that most of you are wanting to tout openly, as you are wanting to announce to the world that you are the creator of your own experience and you are the guider of your own experience. But you are right, most of you are ill-prepared to follow your own guidance system, because most of you have not been practicing it all that much. If we were standing in your physical shoes, we would start with something easier. We would take other subjects and other issues, and we would work to find relief about them until we had shown ourselves that we have the ability to choose a thought and find relief from the thought. And we would like so much, we wish we could wave a hand, not really, because it's more fun for you to do it on your own, but there is a desire within us. We would like so much for you to come to the place where you understand that what anybody else is living is only the results of the thoughts that they've been flowing, period. There are no truths, there are no right and wrongs in those ways. In other words, there are not those things that you are supposed to do and those things that you are not supposed to do. It is that there are those things that are in alignment with who you are, and there are those things that are not in alignment with who you are. Jerry complains frequently that the television or movies don't feel any need to censor blowing someone apart. In other words, murder is perfectly condoned by the airwaves, but don't let anybody touch anyone in a nice way or in a sensual way. And this is what we're talking about. It's hard for you to trust that what you think is right really is right when you're taking a vote from the outside. Very few would agree with you.